Well, hello and welcome to Our Promise Live. I am Patrick Harbison.
And I'm our Promise Senior Director, Tabitha Angel.
Hi, Tabitha.
Hey.
Today we are so excited because we are taking a look back at this year's campaign and celebrating all of the state workers who are helping to recover, rebuild, and revive California by donating through Our Promise. What a year it has been, right, Tabitha?
Definitely, and we couldn't be more excited to introduce our wonderful 2021 Leader United executives who helped make this campaign happen. We couldn't do it without them, so please join us in welcoming Kristina Pinto from the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, Delia Bolinder from the California Department of Motor Vehicles, and then we have Colleen Green from the Department of General Services, and then Esther Vicente from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Welcome, Luz. We're so excited to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
It is so exciting as we reflect back on another successful campaign. But I think, Tabitha, it would behoove us to start by educating some of our viewers at home. For those that don't know, what is a Leaders United executive?
Sure. So they have been called different things in the past, maybe a loaned executive, but we have, kind of renamed it to a Leaders United Executive Program, or we call it LU for short, because we love a good acronym in the state of California. So really what that is it's a leadership program that we have implemented over here at the United Way California Capital Region. And really, we can't do it with the Our Promise campaign and almost 300,000 state employees without the help of our LUs. And really, that is we recruit somebody, multiple employees from various state departments to come help us run the campaign. And with that, they gain multiple type of knowledge and experience, from being an account manager. Each of them manage over 50 accounts within the state of California. And so they get to kind of put their job on hold. So they still are state employees, but then they get to come work for me for about 4 months during this campaign process and really help us run the Our Promise campaign.
Wow, it truly sounds like an incredible experience, not only for the knowledge that they can gain, but if someone were to be philanthropically minded, what a great way to give back and encourage others to do so. Tabitha, if someone is inspired to participate as an LU or a LU, how can they sign up?
Definitely. So you can find us on ourpromiseca.org. So we typically recruit for this program. So for next year in 2022, we'll start kind of reaching out in, February or March and start asking different departments if anybody's interested. Or in this case, a lot of departments will nominate an employee. And that's all of our employees here. They were nominated by their supervisors or by, other executives to participate in this program. So you can find us on our website, our contact information, and definitely reach out to us that way.
So exciting. And as you mentioned at the kickoff, we've got some incredible panelists who at this point now have a lot of experience behind them. I'd love to open it up to the floor and start asking them some questions. And I think that what most people might be interested in it is, what was this experience like for you all? And certainly if for any one of you this was your first time, maybe you can speak to that as well. But maybe Colleen, should we start with you?
Sure. First and foremost, it's been a wonderful experience. I was the last recruited LU. I came on board literally the week before we started doing pre-campaign work. And I've really enjoyed it. Everybody here has been absolutely lovely. It's a really, really great team. And I've been with the state for about 5 years now, and I knew about Our Promise, but it was, here's the form, here's the donation, get some tchotchkes, go back to your desk kind of thing. So it's been really illuminating to see the difference that Our Promise makes and ways in which our nonprofits help the community and ways in which we can help the nonprofits in turn. So it's been really, really eye-opening on that side. And also just, Tabitha, Ben, my fellow Luz, everybody's just been great. And I'm actually kind of sad that we're wrapping up and I have to go back to my day job.
Definitely. How about Delia? What was the experience like for you?
Well, I found it personal growth experience, actually, because I am a more hands-on in-person presentation person. So I had to learn trial by fire with all the Zoom meetings and WebEx meetings and presentations. And it really kind of took me out of my comfort zone, out of my comfort box or whatever. So I had to really push my patience and understanding and education to the limits, but I really think it will help in the long run, just as far as making myself a more well-rounded person. And our Promise team, you folks that are full-time, have been so supportive and held my hand when I needed it. And I just really enjoyed learning about some nonprofits that I had never heard about, even just the little small ones, because you hear about the big ones. But it was really nice to hear about all the different people and topics that the nonprofits touch. I found it very enlightening.
Awesome. And
Kristina, how was your experience?
Myself, when speaking about my experience, I was just speaking to my other supervisor about this as well. I feel being part of the Our Promise campaign as a Leaders United executive is so priceless. How Delia was speaking on personal growth. I feel like that is the strongest factor for me personally. Professionally, I was able to grow my networking skills, public speaking skills, project management skills, but the personal growth factor, like I mentioned, is priceless. We were able to meet and speak with multiple different nonprofits and volunteer and speak to those individuals on a one-on-one level. And I feel those experiences just helped me really see where people are coming from. You meet different people from different backgrounds, and it just helps you appreciate everything that Our Promise does for the community. And I feel like that is the leading factor with being able to assist as a Leaders United executive to help us get the message out. We really are able to see how far the dollar goes for all of these nonprofits. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristina. And then Esther, you are the only one that is not a first timer. You are a veteran in a sense. So, this is a little different. We're our second year virtual. So how was this experience this year for you?
Well, thank you, Tabitha. Yes, it was different than the 2 years preceding. I've been a Lou for 3 years. Last year was our first year working virtually. That clearly, and should not be a surprise, presented a number of challenges as to how to conduct for our departments and for our Promise team in terms of how to conduct a virtual campaign, get people interested and involved in a manner in which is almost counter to the whole concept of bringing people together and being involved collectively. So last year it was a challenge. This year, still a challenge, but I think we met the challenge. We figured it out. Departmental chairs and key connectors and the Our Promise team really rose to the occasion to address any deficiencies that we may have had in the prior year, and to develop a solid system and a solid program, I would say, for this year. So I have heard from many of my chairs that they are just ecstatic about the whole Our Promise portal being virtual. And so I think that that in itself has been a major accomplishment and quite helpful to getting us back to square one.
Awesome. Well, we're really grateful for your return and always your wisdom and your knowledge that you bring to this program. We're always really grateful for that. So thank you again for being here. I know that some of you as Luz were kind of, as Colleen had mentioned, kind of thrown in at the last minute to participate in this program. And some of you knew more about the program than others. But, we wanted to kind of ask, and I know Delia was chosen for a certain reason to be part of this program, but can you kind of touch on, why you chose to participate, or maybe why you were chosen to participate as a Lou? And we'll go ahead and start with Delia.
Thanks, Tabitha. I think part of why I was chosen is I was involved with and still am involved with the Disability Advisory Committee at DMV. I've been the chairperson. I've been involved with the State Disability Advisory Council. So I've seen a lot from that end and been able to have a lot of opportunities afforded to me to network and reach out to people. So I've dealt with nonprofits for a long time, with Shriners when I was a young person. And then currently I am a puppy raiser for Canine Companions. It's puppy number 6 for me is Dawn, and he's a black lab, and he's only 4 months old right now. But it's just been such a wonderful experience to get to know the other nonprofits, because those are the nonprofits, Shriners and Canine Companions, that I've been more involved with. But it's been fun to share my puppy raising a little bit the last couple months with my teammates at Our Promise, because usually I do bring them into the Department of Motor Vehicles. And so the office experience is very important. And it's just really cool just to learn a lot and find out what other people are doing.
Awesome. Thanks, Delia. And your experience from working with Canine for Companions and being on, doing all of that, I think has really helped in your different areas of the program as well, whether that's, speaking. You're really used to speaking with Canine for Companions. So we're really grateful for that experience that you brought to the table. Colleen, what was, why did you choose to participate, or maybe hop on the bus at the last minute?
The absolute last minute. I was really excited to be given the opportunity. Basically, my supervisor came to me like, hey, you've been recommended for this program. What do you think? Would you like to join? And I thought that it was going to be a really good opportunity. I am involved in my community, but not nearly as much as I'd like. So this has been a really good way to kind of get my feet more wet and see what's out there. I'm a project manager back at DGS, so it's also been a really good opportunity to work on my project management skills, keep track of multiple accounts, keep track of multiple stakeholders, some of whom are very high up, some of whom are kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. So that's been a really good experience as well, just the leadership part of the Leaders United. But really a lot of it boiled down to, I should be a better citizen in my community, and this is a great chance to do so.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you got on the bus at the last minute and you're part of our team, because it's been really fun to have you, and you've been a great asset to our team. So I'm really grateful that it all worked out at the last minute.
It did.
Esther, you've been returned a couple of years, and we have a great relationship, and I'm very thankful and always grateful for you. But you didn't have to probably come back, but why did you choose to participate?
Well, I had the honor of returning with my chair from last year. All of us work as such a great team. With the stay-at-home order, and most state employees are currently working from home, it was almost a no-brainer for our team to return, knowing what the process is, so that we could have an effective campaign within the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Beyond that, I have found that working on the Our Promise campaign as a LU is the highlight, and I can say that in all honesty, of my work year. I absolutely love this program. I love what it does. And I was hoping that I was going to be asked, but part of me was saying, don't be so greedy. But I guess the minute I was asked, I of course said yes. And I'm glad that I did again.
Awesome. Well, we're always grateful for you. And I feel like you were there when the plane was being built and taken off last year with all the new e-pledge and everything going online. So I'm glad we're still flying the plane together and the plane hasn't crashed. So, I'm grateful for that as well, because that was a big deal last year, and it's done well and has been successful. And we've kind of seen the growing pains of it from last year and this year of how it works and doesn't work. And then Kristina, I know that your department, CDTFA, has always been really supportive of the program and has always, really dedicated into sending someone loaned to us, which we're very grateful for. But, what kind of made you want to participate in the program?
Yes, I am so excited to be part of the program. For example, within my department, we have a mentoring program, which I am now a part of. And one of the goals that I had this past season was to improve my public speaking skills. So I was given the opportunity to volunteer for Our Promise, and I jumped on it right away. And I have to say, scheduling multiple meetings with different departments and speaking to different levels of staff, also coordinating with the different nonprofits that do show up during the presentations and encountering technical difficulties, I feel like I have really strengthened my public speaking skills and conquered that fear. And I am just so grateful for the opportunity, not only the public speaking, but like all of us have somewhat mentioned, the networking, the leadership skills that we have obtained, and just being a part of the Our Promise campaign, how we've been given the opportunity to meet with the different nonprofits, like I had mentioned before. I just really jumped on that opportunity, and I feel like being a part of your organization has really helped all of us grow. So thank you.
And then now I think we're going to talk a little bit about that nonprofit experience. So I'll swing it over to Patrick.
Yeah, so, we hear a lot of internal dialogue about Make a Difference Mondays. Can one of you speak to what Make a Difference Mondays are for people at home that might be watching? Go for it, Delia.
I'll go ahead and share. I thought they scheduled a variety of things, whether it be Loaves and Fishes or Front Street Animal Shelter. It enabled us to get our boots on the ground, I guess, and just get right in there and see what these organizations are doing. And I think we learned a lot. And I had some, aha moments that I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize you did all this, Front Street Animal Shelter, doing the free microchip or the food pantry that they have for pets. I didn't even realize that. So it just really improved my knowledge, and so that I could share with other people, whether it be personally or professionally.
That's great. I love when you speak about how you can learn through these Make a Difference Mondays about some of the different services that a lot of nonprofits provide. Did anyone else have some takeaways based on Make a Difference Mondays that they'd like to share?
I think the big one for me is just how repeatedly going to these nonprofits, we would hear about, well, here's how we had to pivot for COVID. Here's how we had to evolve. Here's how we had to do more with less. And that was really, really eye-opening. Even, and I wouldn't necessarily go far to say that they're thriving. I mean, they're struggling and we need to, donate and help as much as we can, but they're doing amazing things on a shoestring in a lot of cases. Minimizing waste, expanding their reach, getting to people that they weren't able to get to before because of a digital environment. Like, it seemed like every time we went to a nonprofit, that was part of the aha moment, was that evolution that they had to make.
Yeah, and the great thing about the program is that, it's not just, it's nonprofits, definitely. There are different, nonprofits that we were able to do volunteer events, but, with our Make a Difference Monday, we also try to offer other different types of skill sets and different speakers on those Mondays, so that, expanding outside the box or growing outside the box, the comfortable box, as Delia would say, and learning different skill sets and, about public speaking and other areas, or maybe, learning about your Enneagram and kind of how that functions and, makes different people tick. So it's really great to, have those Mondays to kind of, work on those skill sets and, look at different things and an opportunity to just not be account managers and, but, really look at the why of the campaign. And that's really about us giving back to our communities and where we work and where we live and how much they need us. And I think that's a big part of the program. I have to say it's probably everybody's favorite part of the program. I don't think everybody's favorite part is the account managing part. That's a lot. There's a lot to do within being an account manager, and a little stressful. And you're dealing with 50 different accounts, which are like dealing with 50 different companies. No state department is one and the same. If you've ever worked for the state, like they're very siloed and they do things very, uniquely to their own. And all four of them being here, you learn about each of their departments and how they each function, and not one is the same. But speaking of that, we would love to hear from you guys. I mean, I kind of know some of it from you, but what were your favorite parts about this year's campaign? Any of you could speak to that.
Well, I'll speak to that. In addition to the Make a Difference Monday, which is each Monday, as was described, we hear from a nonprofit and we actually get a chance to volunteer. I actually enjoyed flexing some of my managerial skills and trying to create an organization within an organization. My organization consisting of chairpersons from each of the state departments who on a collective basis would come together each week to discuss their campaigns and learn from each other. And as any state employee might know, it's not always, and I think Tabitha, maybe you just said it a little while ago, we work in silos. If you work for the Department of Corrections, you rarely have any sort of interaction with the Department of Consumer Affairs. So this to me was a wonderful opportunity to bring the various departments together in a collective but separate and individual activity, and to allow them to meet each other, to allow me to meet various people from the departments who were my accounts. I think that is one of the best facets of this program. And so I would say I enjoyed being able to work with all the departments and to create a separate but within individual organization within the Our Promise campaign itself.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak on like their favorite parts of the campaign?
I have a couple that I'd love to share. I enjoyed seeing the creativity of some of the DCCs and the teams in the different departments, because a lot of them, like you said, are doing the work from home or teleworking, and so they don't have the gatherings that they normally had. Sometimes they used to have fairs and all this other stuff and cakewalks, and so they had to do different things, like they did silent auctions. I was really impressed with the two ladies at the Department of Cannabis Control that came up with a scavenger hunt on the Our Promise website that they sent out to their employees, and then we were able to share it with everyone because they were looking to try to, I guess, engage and hope that people come back to, okay, yes, I did see you, I just didn't click on buy. So I thought that was pretty cool. And Caltrans, with an organization, of employees of over 19,000 people, that their chairs did amazing things, put together YouTube videos of what people were passionate about. Other departments did that as well, but they also tried to find ways to get the word out about the campaign to their people in the field that don't sit at a desk and aren't at a computer. And so they tried to make sure that they were well aware and included. So I really liked the creativity, and it was so nice to share that with everybody. And I know more is coming as we all kind of get used to this new norm.
Well, and Delia, you bring up a great point that a lot of departments had to get creative this past year. And I love that you mentioned a couple, including Caltrans. Were there any other departments that you all thought were great campaign champions and that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yes, I would like to speak. I would like to give a shout out to DCSS. They, I feel, created such a lovely video. It was a Matrix themed Our Promise campaign video, which is featured on our website. And I watched that and was thoroughly impressed with their IT and creative skills. I feel like that was definitely a big champion of the campaign, as well as my personal department, CDTFA. They did have a very long presentation. I believe when it was an hour long, and they had about 10 different nonprofits present during that series, and Tabitha as well spoke during that presentation. So yes, those are the two that really stick out in my mind. There are a couple others that I did help with different presentations, and I apologize, I can't think of the names at the moment. They're all blending together, but there were many different departments that showcased other nonprofits that I was not even aware of, the ones that are local next to them, which I thought was very lovely.
And just DCSS, I'm pretty sure, so for acronym, because we love to use acronyms, it's Department of Child Support Services, right? That's who DCSS is?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so they're under Health and Human Service Agency, and they did this amazing Matrix video about the Our Promise campaign, which I believe we've shared on our social channels, and we'll go ahead and maybe drop that in our chat. But it's fantastic to link and watch. It's a great video about picking the different pill for the Our Promise campaign. Very creative and very, very witty. I mean, I haven't seen anything like it before. And then of course, your CDTFA's Tax and Fee Administration, which they did a great job too. Anybody else would like to give any shout outs for some campaign champions?
I'm briefly going to put a shout out to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. I think it's no mistake that our 63,000+ employees each year rise to the occasion as a matter of practice. I'm so honored to represent this department, and I'm so glad that they are each year come to play. And I suspect this year we will see that once again, they've risen to the occasion. But I'm partial too.
For me, some of my big rock stars were the Environmental Protection Agency. Agency-wide, they created an internal facing portal with Our Promise information, links to relevant sources, and they had a photo contest, and it was kind of like a playful competition between the various departments. So that was really, really cool. It kind of, allowed some engagement in a space that was specifically created for it. And then the California Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board, I believe. If I got the order of the words wrong, I am very sorry. They had a really lovely panel style presentation from nonprofits where myself and some of the other judges, we basically engaged with them and had a really nice conversation. And for a smaller agency like that, it was the perfect type of event because it created conversations and engagement. It wasn't just a Zoom presentation. So that was really, really cool to be a part of.
Well, that's so awesome to hear from you guys and your different experiences with different types of state departments and agencies, everything from a very large state department such as CDCR, Corrections and Rehabilitation, who is 63,000 plus. They are the largest state department in the state of California, fun fact. But that doesn't mean that, it's not important to, look at all the boards and commissions, which are a smaller type of scale department that may, for example, there's one, state department, they have maybe 10 employees. But those are just as important. They're all, everybody and each one of you are all public servants, and they all play a role in the state of California. And I think that's really important to note, and how grateful we are for state employees and all the services they provide, from the small boards and commissions to really large departments like Caltrans, who are providing, making our highways and, all of our transportation and our roadways and things like that, to everything that's in between. And I think that's one of the great things about being a Leaders United and coming in and seeing all the different, faces of the state employees, whether that's somebody who works at a smaller department to somebody who maybe works at a very large department, and how that functions and the different services they provide. I'm always very fascinated by what the different state employees do to keep our state alive and running, to be quite honest. We are a massive, massive beast of a state, and we couldn't do it without our state employees. So with that being said, if you were to go back to your state department and your colleague said, hey, how was it? Did you like it? Was it great? What would you say to a state worker considering saying, hey, you should apply for this program next year? What would you say to them?
Do it. I would definitely encourage, it's a really good way to build leadership skills. It's a really good way to become involved in the community. It's a really, really great team. I have loved working with every single one of you, Lou's, our Promise people alike, state employees. It's such a wonderful experience. And if you have the opportunity, please do it.
Yes, I wanted to speak on this as well. Like I had mentioned previously, I did join through the mentoring program. And with that being said, we do have a ending presentation, graduation ceremony for the mentoring program, which I will do a speech for. And I am going to give rave reviews about the nonprofit campaign, all the skills I obtained and all the people. It's just a fantastic experience. I couldn't say better things about it.
I would encourage people to do it also, even just volunteer or ask about it, not wait to be asked if you will do it, or volunteered for it, because I think sometimes something that's not familiar can really help you learn more about yourself and what you can do, which you didn't think you could. So I think our promise really kind of helps us, nudges us nicely into exploring that. And I think it's worth the effort, and I think everyone can learn something from it, if not a lot of things from it.
A nice nudge. I love that sentiment. So before we move on to our 2 prize drawings, we wanted to give you all an opportunity to express or share any final thoughts that you might have about this year's program. Don't be shy.
Thank you. Really. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, people who are watching, who are state employees, for donating, for your time, for your attention. This has just been awesome, and I'm sad to see it wrap up and end, honestly.
I would encourage anyone who experiences any sort of loss, difficulty, anyone who has an interest in animals, in golf, in anything, look to a nonprofit organization. There are so many nonprofit organizations, and you would be surprised at the various things that they do. We've encountered nonprofit organizations that provide flowers to the elderly. Trust me, you will not regret just looking into it, making yourself available, possibly volunteering, and certainly donating so that they can continue the work, the very important work that is necessary to keep our state healthy, recover, revive, and rebuild.
I would just like to encourage people, as we've said the whole campaign time, a minimum of $5 a month, which is 17 cents a day. You can't buy anything really for 17 cents. And so I appreciate everyone that's got on board, everyone that's decided, you know, hey, you know, I want to be part of this, because as we've learned of what a dollar buys, it can make a huge difference in someone's life, whether it's putting food on the table, providing some supplies, helping folks that are getting hygiene kits because they're homeless. So that $5, I don't think you'll miss it. And it seems like the ones that have been doing it for years also agree. So I just say, please, if you can, do a pledge. If not, your time, talent, or treasure. So I just encourage everyone to get involved, even in some little way.
Thank you. And I just want to say, for, you know, my final thought is that every year that we run this campaign, there's only 3 of us on the Our Promise team. Some know that, some don't know that. With me, Ben, and Angelica, and we're an amazing team, and I love my staff, and we're great. But to be honest, we can't do it, and we can't do it without you. And we can't do it without our Leaders United every year coming in and helping really be the backbone of the campaign to help us support and run the campaign. And, you know, you guys talk about how much you learn and how much professional and personal growth it is for you and pushing you out of your comfort zones, but really, you are pushing us, you know, and challenging us every single year. And it's our favorite time of the year. We love working with all of you. It's a lot of fun. I think, yes, it is kind of crazy and madness, and it seems very overwhelming in the beginning that you're going to be managing all of these state departments and doing all of these different things, but really it is a fantastic program. It is fun, and it kind of takes you out of your silo and takes you out of your box of state service for a hot minute. And I think kind of opens up your eyes to all the opportunities that are out there, whether that's networking with other state departments and agencies and, you know, working with them, or looking at what's going on in your community and seeing what's happening. You know, I think sometimes we're all so busy, it's hard for us to stop and take a moment and see what's happening in our backyard and what the need is out there. And I think this presents that opportunity to kind of help you kind of stop and do a reset and be able to see the things that are happening out there. So I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. And if you are interested in this program, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you. We've had people from various state departments. So it's not just these 4 state departments that are here today, but really it can be any state employee. And our program is here within the capital region of the Sacramento area. So that's kind of where we are based out of. But hopefully this piques your interest and gives you that friendly nudge, as Delia would say, to kind of push you along and hopefully join us next year. But now we're going to get to some fun things, and we're going to draw 2 names for our final prize drawing. So here comes the wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the first winner. So it looks like Melody Vega from Department of Rehabilitation. Awesome. Congratulations, Melody. And then I'll take it over to Patrick.
Here we go. Our second winner as the wheel spins. Let's see. Yay! It looks like Vanessa Mercado with the governor's office. Fabulous. Congratulations to today's winners. Be sure to stay on the lookout for an email confirmation that will describe your prize. Always fun to give out some prizes, isn't it, Tabitha?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the fun part of our virtual, you know, presentations and our virtual sessions, and is that we're, you know, able to do these fun prize packs, and people are able to, submit their names and be able to join in on the fun, not being able to do in-person spin the wheels and all of that kind of stuff. But this is a great opportunity, and I feel like it also gives employees opportunities all around the state. So if you've got an employee who's up, in Eureka in Northern California, or if you've got a state employee who's down in San Diego or out in the desert area, it really does give state employees opportunity all up and down the state, because we just don't have state employees here in the capital. They're everywhere. It really gives everyone the opportunity to participate and be a part of this campaign. So thank you so much for joining us, Delia, Kristina, Esther, and Colleen. We are just so thankful for you, and thanks for joining us today. If anyone would like to learn more about the Our Promise campaign, please give us a visit at ourpromiseca.org on our website.
And Tabitha, we'd be remiss not to remind folks to follow at Our Promise CA. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can find a ton of updates and information across all of those online platforms. Thank you all so much for your steadfast support and hard work throughout yet another amazing campaign season. As Tabitha mentioned, we can't do it without you, and we're so appreciative. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.